Welcome to Cold Hard Football Facts on Football Nation. He's Kerry Byrne, the potentate of pigskin. Cold Hard Football Facts. I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network. We got a quarterback controversy in San Francisco. Is this a good or a bad thing?
Well, we may have one. It looks like Jim Harbaugh is trying to manufacture one, which is not what you usually see out of a coach, right? I don't think we have one. Alex Smith has put up great numbers this year. He's been highly efficient since Harbaugh took over as a coach. But what a debut by Colin Kaepernick. If you watch that entire game, first NFL start, a kid out of a small school like Nevada, brilliant against the best pass defense in football, the mighty Chicago Bears. He was amazing. It was fun to watch. But one game does not a career make. I think Alex Smith is still your guy.
When you look at the 70% completion rate of the passes he threw in that game, when you look at how he ran the ball, the audibles he made at the line, and then let's go back to the controversy part. When you look at Jim Harbaugh, with every opportunity to say good things about Alex Smith like he's done for almost 2 years now, he came out and said, I tend to go with the hot hand.
I actually thought at first he was making a joke. Like, I didn't believe it, but apparently there was something more to it. He's trying to either tweak Alex Smith. I don't know what was behind it. I don't have that insight, but I do know Kaepernick put up great numbers. The best game by a quarterback against the Chicago Bears this season by a wide margin. The previous best, Aaron Rodgers put up an 85 rating with 1 touchdown and 1 interception against the Bears in the Week 2 win, the 23-10 Green Bay win over Chicago. Kaepernick threw off the charts, amazing. So I can see why fans would see a controversy there, but I don't see from a coach's perspective why they would be. And if you look at San Francisco's numbers so far this year, largely with Alex Smith, they're one of the most efficient passing teams in football. No reason to make a change after one game like that.
Yeah, and you look at those numbers of this offense, and these are numbers compiled through the first 10 games of the season. Kaepernick with a game and a half hasn't done anything to hurt these numbers. Alex Smith and this offense, and now with Kaepernick, are one of the most proficient offenses in football. It's part of the reason they're a Super Bowl contender, isn't it?
No, it absolutely is. I mean, they have the best defense in football, giving up 13.4 points per game, but highly efficient offense at all levels. I mean, look at some of the numbers. Number 5 in real quarterback rating, number 3 in offensive passer rating, number 2 in passer rating differential, the mother of all stats, as we like to call it, Butch. And, oh, by the way, number 1, the most efficient rushing offense in football at a historic level, the all-time record. Jim Brown in the 1963 Browns averaged 5.63 yards per attempt. The 2012 49ers, 5.48 yards per attempt. They could challenge that record as the greatest rushing team in football while having a very proficient passing attack with Alex Smith largely a quarterback. No reason to make a change now. I could see that screwing up the whole season.
Now let's look at their defense, and in particular Aldon Smith, the defensive end, who on Monday Night Football had 5.5 sacks, and for a lot of people maybe burst on the scene. I think a lot of people forget that 2 years ago, Von Miller with Denver was the 2nd pick in the draft. J.J. Watt was later in the 1st round. Aldon Smith was the 7th pick in the draft. Niners fans know that, but how many other people remember him? Now he's leading the NFL in sacks.
Well, I have to say, at Cold Hard Football Facts and my preseason projections with Sports Illustrated, I projected him Defensive Player of the Year, so we saw it coming, Butch. You know, he had 14 sacks as a rookie. Right now, on pace, this is amazing, okay? He's gonna set the record for most sacks in the first 2 seasons of a career, held by a guy named Reggie White. Number 2, a guy named Derek Thomas, 2 of the best pass rushers of all time. This is the company we're talking about with him right now. And by the way, high up on that list too, just behind those guys, is Von Miller from Denver, another high pick in that 2011 draft. So Aldon Smith, a big reason why this is the number 1 scoring defense in football. And by the way, I'm looking at the most sacks in a single game. Aldon Smith had 5.5 Monday night. Only 4 guys have had more than 5.5 sacks in an NFL game, and twice it was Derek Thomas. So we're talking very elite company, a very legit big-time performance by Aldon Smith last night. A scary player and looks to be dominant for a long time.
So this team was a game away from the Super Bowl last year. Right now they're the number 2 seed, which of course a bye comes with that. Yep. Green Bay's right on their heels. They're 2 games behind Atlanta for the number 1 seed. So you look at their schedule going ahead, and they've got some tough games. And it's interesting because they could go from bye to having to play a first-round game. They could actually get the number 1 seed if Atlanta stumbles a couple of times.
They could. The big concern is only 2, I'm just checking right now, I believe you have 2 home games left. 4 of the last 6 games on the road, Butch. And by the way, at New Orleans, who's looking like they've come around, Drew Brees can torch any defense, right? At New England, primetime game, that's going to be a big game. And at Seattle, a team that seems to be very deadly at home. So, this is a team that could still lose 3 more games, remaining in the season and tumble out of that race for a bye. But you have to right now the most efficient offense in football, running and passing, and the number 1 defense. That's the recipe for Super Bowl success. I think you still have to like their chances, provided Jim Harbaugh doesn't screw it up with a with a fake, unnecessary quarterback controversy.
Comment about 3 weeks from now where they might be at with the quarterback situation and tying up this whole segment. Here's my point. Right now, Green Bay and the Giants are in a battle for their divisions, even though Green Bay is still closer to the number 2 seed. San Francisco has a 2-game lead over Seattle, but if they stumble, if they lose to New England, if Seattle keeps winning, and they're either all of a sudden when they go to that game against Seattle, they could be battling for the division and maybe a playoff spot.
Yeah. In the toughest arena to play in the NFL. Sorry,
who's the quarterback?
Right? It's going to be, yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I mean, this is a good team. I still think they're going to be there at the end. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl at the start of the year. I think they have the makeup to do it, and that's why I'm concerned if I'm a 49ers fan that Harbaugh would take this opportunity to, even if he's joking, even if he didn't mean it, to create controversy for a team that doesn't need it, for a team that can win with Alex Smith, that would have gone to the Super Bowl last year with Alex Smith, if not for the fact they had a couple, special teams gaffes in the fourth quarter and overtime. This is a Super Bowl team as constructed. Don't screw it up.
What would you do? What should Jim Harbaugh do? Reach out to Kerry Byrne and give your opinion. Would you go with the hot hand, Colin Kaepernick, and how long would you stay with him? Or do you go back to your guy, Alex Smith? This is Cold Hard Football Facts on Football Nation.